Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending on where you're watching. My name is Sam Clement. I'm the president of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters, and we appreciate you joining us for our third Thursday for the month of March. We're very excited to have Elizabeth Bernberg, who's the Senior Director of Business Development with AdCellerant. Elizabeth, a longtime partner of our State Broadcasters Association, so we appreciate her being here. A little bit about AdCellerant. They help broadcasters activate, grow, and retain digital revenue, along with UI marketing. AdCellerant offers customer service, education, operational support, all to ensure customer campaign performance and overall results for broadcast partners and their advertisers. This webinar in particular will dive into digital solutions that enable your sales teams to connect with their target customer, no matter the channel. So with that said, I will hand it over to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thanks for joining us.
Sam, thank you so much. And everyone who's joining today, whether it's in the middle of your workday or lunch hour, appreciate your time and learning a little bit more about how to extend your clients' reach while growing your station share. And we've got a really packed deck here, so I'm going to keep it open and flowing, and definitely want to also make sure we keep it open to questions too. While this may be a webinar, please feel free to use that chat feature or that question feature. If you've got any questions for me, I'll be taking a look at that and I can address it either as we're going or maybe hold it to the end. But definitely want to be sure that y'all have the opportunity, to ask about what's important to you. So without further ado, agenda today, we're going to touch a little bit on who AdCellerant is. And Sam definitely did speak to that, but there's a lot more to what we do and how we are supporting our partners, specifically our broadcast partners, which is my vertical, my focus, how we help y'all really win and grow in the digital space and make it easy at the end of the day to really put these solutions together in the marketplace and have your advertisers say yes. At the end of the day, this is supposed to support them. We'll dive into the current landscape and digital opportunity. None of this is going to be new news to y'all, but I think it's going to be interesting to see some of the data and the analytics behind it. Lots of information from eMarketer that I'll be sharing, as well as Burrell. We'll go into repurposing your assets, really easy ways to kind of complement, again, your broadcast schedules with these digital solutions, extending that reach so you're growing your share of wallet. And those solutions that then enhance, obviously, the broadcast solutions that you're presenting and pitching to your clients. We'll touch on reporting and retention. That's such a key component when it comes to, keeping that pipeline and that renewal of business again and again. There are three ways to grow, business. It's incremental, it's retention, and it's new, brand spanking new business. But those first two are the easiest ways to keep revenue coming in and that pipeline very robust. Last, we'll close out with, obviously Q&A, but before that, remembering it starts with the client needs analysis, making sure we're really setting up the conversation and ideally the campaign up for success at the onset of that discussion with the client and learning about their goals and objectives and what they're trying to achieve with their marketing strategy, not just with their broadcasting strategy. So without further ado, a little information about AdCellerant here. We are a technology and digital advertising company, and our goal, our war cry, what we do every single darn day is strive to do, I should say, is make the complexities of the digital space easy and simple, easy to grasp, easy to understand for your sellers, and then, of course, most importantly, for your advertisers. And we've actually built out our own proprietary software solution that oversees everything in the digital sales process, from sales enablement, training, proposal development, to campaign execution and management, all the way to reporting. We've built out this entire software solution that really, again, is going to help you scale your business, but also have the transparency into what's happening with all these digital campaigns and the data behind them. We're based in Denver, Colorado. It's snowing here today. Gotta love spring in the Rockies, right? But we're actually around 200 people right now. We grew during the pandemic. I came on 3 years to the day. Today's my anniversary, 3 years. March 16th, 2020 was my first day starting a new gig in business development the day the world ended. I've never looked back. It's been one of the best decisions of my career. But we have grown. And everyone that we have at our team, whether it's support, campaign managers, product development, they're all AdCellerant employees. So I definitely wanted just to highlight that. And our goal, of course, is really to support our partners, really experience that maximized revenue potential and support of their marketplace, of their community. So right now we're working with a little over 400, I need to update this slide here, a little over 400 media companies, direct sales channel organizations, from small broadcasters, publications, to national ones, and everyone in between. So we offer the full gamut of capabilities, and we'll kind of touch on some of those here. But enough about us, enough about AdCellerant. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's conversation. So understanding the digital opportunity and really what that means when it's understanding what your share is like from a broadcast standpoint and what the opportunity is in real tangible numbers and share percentage with digital. So these graphs right here, y'all, from eMarketer. None of this is going to be surprising, as I mentioned before, but it's important to kind of see the numbers behind it because they are quite staggering. If we look here at this first image right here, total media ad spending by media, digital in 2023 is going to account for almost $280 billion. This is in the US. Television is second, but at 62. Look at that gap right there. That is a huge potential for growth and opportunity tied to your stations. It's then followed by radio, newspaper. So radio and newspaper kind of neck and neck. Out of home magazine, you see it right there. And then, of course, what that means by the share. So this is really the big key here. How can we help digital from a digital standpoint? How can you continue to add on these solutions to increase your share of the budget in the marketplace? Because we know advertisers are spending these dollars, these digital dollars, maybe through an agency, maybe they're doing it internally, maybe they're working with a competitor of yours. But how can we position the broadcast station, whether it's television or radio? Y'all have loyal viewers, loyal listeners. You have that community grasp. You get it. You understand. You are local at its core. How can we really help empower you to go after these dollars to support your station and continue to support your advertisers? So more time on digital media. And again, no surprises here. Time spent with media versus digital media. Look at that. I mean, all the way through 2024. And of course, COVID really put a rocket ship behind these metrics as well from a digital standpoint. But that's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Average time spent with connected television. And again, another thing that really took on, really incremental growth during the pandemic. You see that surge in 2020, but that's continuing to take place. We are almost at 2 hours. Every single individual spending at least 2 hours a day on connected television. Are your advertisers on that platform? Are you able to support your advertisers getting on that platform? All right, let's continue. More time with digital media. I love this graph because it gives just a different, instead of those, line graphs, I guess, this is kind of a different look at really the ebbs and flows of time spent with media, because that's something so important for us to remember. We're not just asking for, and needing to get a larger share of the budget, a larger share of that voice for our clients. We need to maximize share of time with the consumers on the platforms that we have in those recommendations for our advertisers. So TV is still hot and heavy, 2 hours and 46 minutes. Look at smartphones. I mean, we are connected to this thing, God help us, 24/7. Look at connected television. These are all continuing to grow while TV is seeing that slow decline. So making sure, again, that digital is part of that conversation is going to be paramount. One last slide before we get into some other elements here, but I think it's important to understand, where local media clients, where your SMBs are going When they need support in the digital space, they're going to local media companies like you. But look who's up ahead right here, local newspapers. So be mindful as to the competitors in your market space, whether it's a weekly or a daily. This is from Burrell and Associates, 36% of small businesses who are connecting with those local media companies and getting digital support with these products and solutions I'm going to talk about, they're going to their newspaper. We see radio and television at 26% and then 19%. So y'all are still up there, but we need to make sure that you're not creating any vulnerabilities, right, for competition to come in there and possibly get a share of those digital dollars that can be going into your favor. All right, solutions. So I like talking about, and if y'all have watched any of those videos from 10-Minute Trainer, I'm one of the 10-Minute Trainers, AdCellerant's on there. We've got a few other amazing team members sharing some knowledge. We love talking about solutions, not products, right? We're not product pitching. We're talking about holistic solutions that are gonna meet the goals and objectives of the advertiser. So here are some of those solutions, right, that are really helping address those pain points that advertisers are having. As a broadcaster, you're going in there talking about this amazing audience reach that you have, these loyal listeners, these loyal viewers. You've got it. You have got that top of the funnel down. Now it's time to make sure we're complementing your recommendation with these more strategic and targeted elements, again, to increase that share of wallet, that share of budget, but then further support your advertiser reach their target customer, no matter where they might be consuming that media. Programmatic display or targeted display, targeted banners. Some of y'all might heard about it. Location-based tactics, so geofencing. Maybe you've heard of device ID targeting or micro proximity. How are we leveraging location-based tactics? Think about your promos. Think about your on-sites. Think about any marketing events, even that the stations are having. What a great way to capture those device IDs, those phones, right? And then serve them ads as that customer continues their journey throughout their day. Location-based tactics, email marketing. This is just a cornerstone to digital marketing in and of itself, because we all understand the functionality of email. This is not really so mystical to advertisers if they're getting, putting their toe in digital marketing, right? They understand how email works. So this is a great solution to really put their full message of products and services to a specific targeted audience outside of their own database. Streaming video, YouTube, video content, we know it is soaring. It is everywhere from social media channels out the wazoo to, of course, a lot of television stations having their own streaming channels. This is huge. Video content is huge. But again, making sure we're extending that reach, going outside of your owned and operated capabilities to ensure you are maximizing your client's brand to their target customer, no matter what channel they might be viewing at that time. Last but not least, in terms of what really is kind of resonating with our broadcast partners, local SEO, search engine optimization, local. That means we're talking about Google Business Profile and helping your companies, your advertisers, get found on Google. When people are putting in products and services, right? Pizza, zip code, boom, Joey's Pizza Joint, cool. And you see that little 3-pack on Google, that's what I'm talking about, local SEO, really cost effective and great way to maintain that top of mind awareness for advertisers, for customers who are in the market for a specific product or service. So when we talk about targeting options, and y'all have seen this, there's just a plethora of ways to continue to complement, of course, and get a little bit more granular from a targeting perspective to what you're already doing on the broadcast side. Here's some information, of course, on location-based tactics that I touched on earlier: device ID, micro proximity, geofencing. That's really the big buzzword. But it's quite amazing tech where we're able to really put these virtual fences around specific brick and mortar locations or specific events, and then serve ads to every single device and all the connected devices to that initial device, ads from your customers, right? Ads from your advertisers. This is a great way to extend that audience reach, and you're just putting messages in front of eyeballs, right? That's what we do on the radio side. You're putting messages, in front of people's ears, making sure they hear it. Television, you're putting these messages in front of people's eyes, seeing that video. This is doing the exact same thing, but leveraging people's location as the data to put the right message in front of the right person. All right, streaming television, repurposing those assets. And y'all, this is still a huge opportunity, even from a radio standpoint. I've been hearing a lot from radio groups who are really getting involved on the video front, right? They're developing production teams. They're having this be a part of the overall strategy. Video is huge. And a lot of clients are already starting to build out their own video capabilities. There's so many apps out there where you can really get a decent quality of a video, without tons of crazy money, or sometimes it can be free. So checking out some of those resources or other channels where your advertisers might be using, video creative. Maybe it's their social media channels. Maybe they've got a YouTube channel. Maybe it's on their website. What great way to then repurpose that same asset, but then put it in a larger channel, right? Like streaming television, and connect with those specific customers across all of these particular channels, right? Extending that reach. So making sure, we're repurposing the assets that we already have our hands on is a real key element to extending that reach and growing that share of budget. Email campaigns, I touched on it as well. Again, just a great core solution, and especially for even some of your newer sellers, right? Or even legacy sellers who, maybe just not drinking all the Kool-Aid when it comes to digital, or they're slow to transition to, this new digital age that's here and upon us. Email's been around for a while. That is how we communicate. So this is a great solution to really open up the larger conversation in terms of how digital with, all these other solutions can really aid in reaching those goals and objectives for the customer. This is a great starter solution. And then local SEO, getting found on Google. Whenever we're looking for something, my VP of Business Development here at AdCellerant, Ben Bauslog, we always say to each other in webinars, if y'all have seen us, what do you do when you're looking for something? You GTS, you Google that stuff, right? So this is a huge component to really add to a campaign. It's cost effective, about $200 a month retail. You've got some good margin in there for this station. It's a sticky product, meaning minimum of 6 months. This is important to have really as an evergreen solution, right? You always want your clients to be visible when people are searching for their products and services. But this is what they're going to see, right? This 3-pack, and we've all seen it. The names of the other companies, the directions, and there's some great analytics behind local SEO that we are able to share with you all on a monthly cadence as well. So having that transparency too, and how people are actually searching for products and services, and what actions are they taking when they reach the Google business profiles? Are they going to the website? Are they then clicking on directions to drive to that point of location? Those are all really important analytics to share with your client in terms of success of this campaign. All right. Reporting and retention. So this is a sneak peek at our dashboard here at AdCellerant. And again, we've built out our own proprietary software solution from soup to nuts. This is all ours. We haven't, built it from another system, but the reporting side of anything to do with digital is so incredibly crucial to keeping that business and ideally growing that business. Because people are doing digital marketing. The reason why, they're really leaning into this, it's the data behind it, right? It's the metrics and the transparency, so they can really actualize that ROI and attribute it to a specific function of the marketing plan. So focusing on what matters, right? With digital, you're going to be able to see those conversion trackings. How are we really making sure that the client's getting that ROI from their spend, right? Are we looking at a click-through conversion? Are we looking at a post impression, otherwise called view through? These things are super important. What about creative performance? Is one call to action working better than another? Is maybe a particular image, right, really resonating with the target audience? These are great things that you already do, especially on the creative side when it comes to broadcasting. Use that same intellect with your broadcasting strategies and apply it to the digital space, right? Because it is still needed. You just have more insight into the data as to how customers, users on the other side of that screen are engaging with the brand. So support that helps you win and retain business. So, think about it too. If y'all are looking to extend into the digital space, or maybe you already have a digital arm and things are working, you've got a pipeline, you're executing, you're making money. This is great. Making sure that you have the appropriate support in place, because extending that reach and growing that share, you need a bench. You need people, right? Not just cool tech. You need people that are going to be able to join you on maybe sales calls, or really give you some insights into the reporting and communicate that story of success. And remember, campaign success, speaking of, getting to that retention and that renewal, it all starts at the beginning, right? It starts with how you approach that client needs analysis, that initial conversation with the advertiser about what they're trying to achieve, what obstacles they're facing right now in the marketplace. If they're new entrants in the industry, maybe they've got a new competitor, or there's a new audience that's emerging, and they really need to be sure that they're in front of that new audience that is becoming more and more of a significant, stakeholder in their business, right? Making sure that you are having these really proactive client needs analysis conversation and making it about them. That's going to set up the appropriate expectations. You're then going to be able to bundle in these other digital solutions to increase your share, extend your clients' reach, and further support their initiatives. But then guess what? It comes full circle, because that CNA, the products that we're running, the data and analytics that we're seeing in that reporting dashboard, that's going to support you win that business again and again. Deepen that trust with the advertiser. All right, packages, ideas, revenue potential. This is my favorite part. I'm a former AdCellerant partner myself, y'all. So I've literally kind of experienced from a broadcast side, starting from ground zero and building it up from there and training the team. But I tell you, sometimes a great package, a great bundle, an easy plug and play solution is exactly what is needed, especially to build up that momentum internally. So these are just some initial packages that we even have current partners using that are really adding the digital component, extending that reach, but we're also not breaking the bank here, right? These are meant to complement, as I said before, complement the broadcast side. But you don't want to be leaving money on the table. Sure, you don't for broadcast, no way. But don't leave your business vulnerable by not addressing digital either, right? So these packages right here from display, goodness, $500, $500. Geofencing, $750, 50,000 impressions. Streaming television, 20,000 impressions, $700. These are retail rates. And the average margin from our partners who are leveraging these kinds of tactics here, it's anywhere between 50 and 60%. There's money here, right? These are great solutions and tactics to be talking about with your clients, especially if they apply and can be adopted in reaching their goals. And let's take it a little bit further. So, okay, we're going to extend our reach. We're going to be further supporting our advertisers. We're going to be leaning into all of these digital capabilities. What does that mean from a station standpoint in terms of revenue? This is business, right? We've got to look at the P&L. We've got to be growing in the right direction. We've got to be paying our people. What is this? What's the implication of all of this? So here's a great example. And this is actually what AdCellerant does and what I do with pretty much almost all of our partners on our broadcast side, at least. I know our other biz dev managers do the same with other partners. We want to build out a 3-year growth trajectory and really showcase what what is needed from a proposal standpoint, average closing ratio, to get to the revenue goals that the station has in place or wants to have in place. So here's a great example. And this could apply to you. Maybe you've got double or triple the AEs. Maybe you have 3 AEs, maybe 4. Maybe it's just 2, a smaller market. No worries. There's still an amazing amount of digital opportunity and revenue growth. So if we just look at this, 3 AEs, if they just did 2 proposals every single darn week with digital, it's 24 proposals a month, $750 average deal size. Pipeline is immediately $18,000. Boom. That's a nice pipeline. If your closing ratio is 50%, 1 out of every 2, $9,000 a month in new revenue right there. And if we look at it over a 12-month time frame, without including compounding revenue, right? Because remember, it's going to build on top of each other. That's $108,000 of new revenue right there, which is 2 proposals a week at $750 average deal size. That's doable. That is totally doable. And guess what? Your clients, they need this. These are the kinds of tactics and solutions that other competitors are talking to them about, but they also know that this is, where their audience is going as well, right? So pipeline and revenue growth. Final takeaways and best practices. I wanted to be sure I didn't, just speak for a full hour and have everyone's eyes glaze over and everyone be tuning out. I wanted to make sure we kept this really high paced, but focused on the metrics and the details that matter, right? So the benefit of adding digital to campaign proposals, digital should really always be running, period, because more than likely, if your clients aren't running it with you, they sure probably are running it with somebody else, but that's okay. Even if they are running it with somebody else, address the gorilla in the room. In that client needs analysis, be sure you're asking questions. Tell me about that reporting. Are you able to attribute your ROI? What kind of support and service do you have? These are great ways to open up the conversation, to have you and your team shimmy in there from a digital standpoint. All right, omni-channel approach. So with digital running, this really enables you to take on that marketing consultant standpoint. You are not just pitching and product selling broadcast and just that audience. You are looking at the entire audience for the advertiser, and you're combining and blending any and all of these solutions together, in addition to what you already have at play on the broadcast side, to bring about the best recommendation for your advertiser. And you want to make sure every sales call counts, even if it's going back to your advertiser and they've been working with you for years and they've been always doing the same schedule. They do the same event sponsorship. It's great consistency. Well, consistency is great. Could it be better? Are you leaving still dollars on the table? Is there, is your business completely protected? Probably not. So be sure that you are having that consultative approach. You're asking those open-ended questions always to your advertiser, right? You want to complement every single proposal with digital, ideally. You want to fine-tune those C&A questions, make it about them. This is not about us and a fire hose initiative that the manager just told us about. We need to sell all these sponsorships. Yes, that's important. But if you go into a sales meeting with that as your pitch, and we all know this, that's not a winning recipe. We got to make it about them. Creating those easy turnkey packages so your sellers are armed right now with the best tactics and they can easily add it when talking about solutions with their advertisers. You need to make sure that you're working with the right provider, right? That has training, that has accessible support, that has people power. That's what I call it, people power. That's incredibly important to successful when people are diving into the digital space, right? Y'all are max. You're doing a ton right now. Your sales team meetings, you're putting together marketing plans, you're, doing spots, you're creating spots, you are doing a ton of stuff right now. So digital might need some additional TLC, right? Additional hand-holding, if you will. That's what we do. And that's what your right partner should be doing. So I want to really thank everyone so much for joining this, fast and furious, but I hope informative webinar on extending your audience reach and growing your station share. My name is Elizabeth Bernberg. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development here at AdCellerant. And I'd love to hear from you. If any of this is kind of resonating with, what you're doing in your stations or how you can maybe be better, right? From a processes standpoint or, strategy standpoint with clients that involve digital, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. We've got some great case studies as well that I can share with you. But thank you all so much for joining. And I feel like we might have a question here. Let me check it out.
Actually, Elizabeth, so if you do have questions, please put them in the chat. But one that's coming offline is for a station that has a small staff and there's no awareness of really any of this at this point. What is the best way to just get started?
Absolutely. The best way to first get started from a training standpoint is really to understand, what's ground zero like right now? What currently do our AEs know about? Do they know about Google? Do they know about social media? Do they, what are they familiar with? What have the clients been asking about? If any clients have been asking about or curious, I think that's a great way to, understand the space, right? The current universe in the market. After you kind of figure out, all right, is there a need? Are we seeing maybe a dip in our share? Are we seeing maybe more our competitors getting a little bit more aggressive with digital? Do we see our clients becoming more modernized, like on their website, and maybe they're running social media campaigns? That's indicative of a time to change, right? Of a time to really consider these capabilities. So I would reach out to me or find someone in the digital space who can ideally learn a little bit more about your company, your business model, your clients, your market. Your market's going to be different, than a neighboring market, right? Or a big city market, and what y'all are trying to achieve. So to get started, it's super important just to know where you are right now, know the level of, of digital education internally versus, hey, what maybe do our clients already know? And then connect with someone who can help you start connecting the dots on what could be the best ways forward.
To everyone for joining today. As Elizabeth said, if you have any questions, we'll circulate the deck for those who have registered or those who are watching on demand. And if you have any questions, please reach out to her personally. Elizabeth, any closing remarks you want to add?
Have a great day, y'all. Enjoy. We love what we do. We're in media for a reason. I've been in this space forever. I'm a broadcaster myself. Have a great day. Happy selling, and I hope to see y'all soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great week. Bye.
Cheers.